In this video, I'm literally going to be handing you the step-by-step proven plug-and-play system that you can use to write emails that you can sell for $300 each. Now, I've used these exact strategies to make over $10,000 per month, and so have my students. And look, the process inside this video is going to be useful whether you're just starting out or even if you are a seasoned copywriting veteran, because not only am I going to be showing you how to write these emails, but we're specifically going to be focused on story-based marketing emails. Now, the reason why is because these are the most highly effective forms of marketing, but also because most copywriters and most people's marketing does not implement stories well, which leads to a lot of logic selling and overall hurts the amount a business can make. So everything I'm going to be showing you today in this video is going to give you a complete unfair advantage over other copywriters, and you'll learn how to add the most amount of profit to a business's bottom line, which of course is going to make you even more money. So without any further ado, let's hop right into it. So what we will actually be covering today: the bird's eye view. I'll be going over the complete blueprint, and then also we'll be going over a couple of emails. Then I'll be talking about how to get your first $1,000 client in 15 days from now and eventually hit that 10K per month mark. So what's the bird's eye view? What is the big picture or the big process? So look, before we hop right into things, at the end of this video, if you haven't already, you'll want to download the free copy starter kit. Okay, the free copy starter kit has not only this exact document that I'm going over, but also scripts, templates, swipe files, other pieces of copy that you can get inspiration from, and just a whole bunch of more things. You also get access to a ton of free courses, as you can see right here on screen. You can network with winning copywriters and get inspired. For example, Rowan, who's making $14,000 as a copywriter, or Abby, who made $2.3K with copywriting. Or you can get your copy reviewed by other copywriters. As you can see, other people are saying, review, drop them below. I want to see your copy. You can also check out the whole community of copywriters giving value, okay? Selecting a niche is not a marriage decision. And of course, that is a community value post from someone else. As you can see, inside the school community, we have around 30,000 members so far. And then over here in Discord, you can see we have 64,000 members. So make sure after you watch this video, not right now, but after you watch it, you go and check out the free copy starter kit where you can get access to all of that and even more for absolutely, again, free $0 on the house. But how can writing simple story emails absolutely change your life? Well, first of all, email marketing is the highest return on investment form of any digital marketing. Okay, you'll hear this a lot. $1 for every $40 spent. Okay, so you spend $1 on email marketing, you usually get $40 back, which means $1,000 you spend on it, you usually get $40,000 back, and so on and so forth. It's scalable. It can sell to 10 people as easily as it can sell to 10 million. It's the same thing. You create an email, you put it out to your list, all right, you send it, and the email does all of the selling. It is also highly personalized yet scalable, which is something you can't really find in most forms of marketing. Personalized because it can use your first name, it knows your information, and it also can tell if you've clicked on other things before, if you've been actively engaging with the email list before, or if you haven't been. I'm going to be creating a whole free email marketing course, an email automation course that will go with all of the things I'm talking about in this video. But for now, just understand, writing simple story emails can make you a lot of money. It's no algorithms, just inboxes. When you are just posting on social media, the problem is that a lot of your followers are not going to get your messages, especially if it's promotional, because people don't like to see promotional things usually on people's social media, so they won't really watch, which tells the algorithm people don't like this as much, which makes the algorithm is going to suppress your content. Whereas with email marketing, it doesn't matter any algorithm, okay? No algorithms at play here, just getting into people's inboxes. Next is that it multiplies other forms of marketing. So people often say like, well, why would people sell with email when they can sell with social media, when they can sell with ads, when they can sell with SEO? Guys, copywriting and email marketing multiplies all of those things. It's not a matter of which one should you choose. It's a matter of using them all together to get the most amount of results possible. Email marketing is like the Swiss Army knife of digital marketing. You can be used with anything. Versatile, direct, and effective. It's not just selling, it's building relationships. While social media shouts from the rooftops, email sits down with you for a coffee. And in today's fast-paced digital world, that personal touch makes all of the difference. When creating a great email marketing strategy, people are not annoyed by your emails, but they look forward to receiving them and are bummed out when they don't get your emails. And with great emails, you can get responses like these that I've gotten writing for my clients and my own email list. So people saying, bro, whoever wrote this email, I should give a huge appreciation. This is the wittiest email I ever got. Even my mom laughed. Or, LOL, I freaking love you, man. This has to be the catchiest subject line I've ever seen. Man, your emails are a blast. Or ones like these. Bro, your writing is amazing. I was hooked the whole time. Amazing. I also want to write like this. Or, Tyson, you are the most relatable copywriter out there. For real. Sure, many have relatable stories, but the way you put it is so inspiring. Ominous music plays. Will definitely take your name in my Mom, I Made It speech. Thanks a bunch, friend. Damn, this email brought a big smile to my face. If you want to get email replies like those and everybody literally loving your emails, then you have to create and implement stories and all the strategies that I'm about to tell you. And having entertainment in your emails is of the utmost importance. Think of it this way. We all know our favorite commercial, or maybe it's our favorite Super Bowl commercial, or a commercial that really just made us laugh and really entertained us and that we love watching over and over and over again. This makes it so that you can market to people and they'll actually love you for it, right? So if you market to people in a way where it entertains them and they actually had a good time throughout the whole thing, dude, this is going to completely revolutionize your email list and how you can make money for your clients. Another example I like to give is a lot of people like to show up to the movie theaters early so that they can catch the previews. The previews, all they are is ads. They're all advertisements, but people want to see them again because they're entertaining. So if you create the same thing in your emails, dude, you can sell like crazy. You can sell like crazy. You can get your clients crazy open rates, crazy click-through rates, and that's what I want for you guys. And of course, this is going to translate to you becoming an outrageously paid copywriter. So here is the 4D story emails from scratch blueprint. Number one, pick a real entrepreneur. No fairy tale copy. Fairy tale copy is when you sit down, you open a doc and you say, I'm going to write some copy. Not how it works. You want to find an actual entrepreneur. And of course, you want to write for them. If you want to know who to write for or want some examples, again, that's all in the free copy starter kit you can download after this video. Then you want to gather info based on their brand voice. Then you want to pick an email structure, write a rough draft of the email, optimize and revise using AI, and then go through the peer review process, which means submitting it in the school community or submitting it in the Discord community as well. So how to create awesome story emails that are even better and more addicting than TikTok, okay? So your emails are not just fighting with all the other emails in the inbox for attention. They're also fighting with everything. Social media, Instagram, TikTok, Netflix. If your copy can be as good as Netflix or as entertaining as TikTok or as addictive as TikTok and Instagram, dude, you will never go hungry. You will always have clients begging to work with you because your copy is so good and makes them so much money. So here are my 5 basic, simple rules of ultra effective stories. There are more, but I'll just leave it at this, okay? So 1, never include useless information, all right? So the anti-word count formula. You know how in school they would tell you, oh, well, you have to reach 4 pages, you have to reach 1,500 words, and you'd be sitting there saying stuff like, back in 1972, it was 1972, which is 28 years before the year 2000 and 72 years after the year 1900. And in 1972, there was this man named Charles. Charles's name was Charles. And you just go on and on and on and say a bunch of useless crap in order to fill out and create as much fluff as you can inside of the writing. And this will lead you astray, okay? We've all been taught to write ineffectively. The school system has failed us, okay? So we want to unlearn everything that we've learned so far. And we want to relearn how to actually write stories in the least amount of words possible. And this is a big reason why I don't like reading like fiction books, is because like you'll read a Harry Potter book and you'll be like, he was at the train station. You smelled this. It was musty. You look around. There's a wall over there. You hear a bunch of hustle and bustle. And I mean, it's just over and over and over and over and over again, just describing the scene in a way that doesn't need to be described. That's why I just don't like those books. I only read nonfiction for that very reason. Next is that stories can be any length. And for an example, here's a 6-word story. For sale, baby shoes, never worn. It invokes a feeling. It's a story, even though it's just 6 words. And stories can be any length, and you can use multiple in an email. You can use one in an email. You can make it as long or as short as you would like, as long as it is concise. Next is that stories are meant to entertain while painting a lesson. Okay, so we all know in copywriting there should be belief shifts, right? You need to shift people's beliefs in a way that gets them closer to the sale. And the best way to do that is through a story. Why? Because stories not only entertain, but when you tell a story, people insert themselves as the main character. Okay. Next is that stories should have a conflict and a resolution. Imagine if you were watching like Spider-Man and his uncle never died and the girl just wanted him right off the bat. Mary Jane was already in love with him and he was just Spider-Man and he was kicking butt and nothing wrong or nothing bad ever happened. It wouldn't make for a very good movie, would it? This is also a reason why in a lot of really good movies or in a lot of like really good Marvel movies, especially lately, the good guy dies. The good guy dies or a bad thing happens. And that's what really sticks with people because they expect something good to happen. They expect the hero to always pull through. So when they don't, it really sticks into people's minds and gives them that entertainment value, okay? So stories should have an actual conflict and resolution. You don't want it to just be all good stuff. And then next, lastly, but certainly not least, you should know how to transition your story into the call to action seamlessly. And I'll give you a few ways to do that. But again, this is big and it's something that a lot of people have trouble with. A lot of people have trouble with stories in general. They are one of the most difficult forms or types of emails to write. It took me a long time to actually understand, but I'm going to make it as simple as possible for you guys. And of course, give you templates and resources to start for yourself. So here are 5 simple types of story emails. How did your product come about and what's the backstory? Okay. I see this in a lot, like pretty much every single ad and in a lot of e-commerce ads that I've seen recently. I saw one for a bug zapper and there was this whole story about his daughter got bit by a bug and got malaria or some sort of disease. And then that's when he said, you know what, enough is enough. And then this inspired him to make the crazy bug zapper. Then he broke down why it was so much better than all the other bug zappers. But that's a quick example of how did your product come about? What was the backstory? What was the inspiration? What have you tried before? Next is, what solutions did you try before you came up with your actual product? Why didn't they work? Right? Give some really good justifications. And what was the lesson? What did it feel like, right? Stories are a lot about what did it feel like. And also with stories, this is just an aside, but still very, very relevant. You want to just be ultra specific, like so specific that someone in their mind is thinking like, man, he cannot make this up. There's no way that this guy's making this up. For example, if I told you that some random dude came up on the street and he said, hey man, you're really cool. And I said, thanks. It's really vague. And you're like, really? Did he actually say that? But if I was like, yeah, if I add all these details, yeah, I was walking down the street. I was with my cousin Emilio and this random dude with really long hair comes up to me. He said, yo, bro, you're cool. But he said it really slow and odd, like, yo, bro, you're cool. And I didn't know if he was on drugs. I didn't know if he was okay. I didn't know what he was thinking or why he said it. So I just confusedly said, thanks, and walked away. So the second way I told that story seems a lot more believable because I added in so many details that feel so ultra specific that it doesn't feel like I could just make it up. Next, how did you figure out a unique mechanism of your product/value, right? So you should know what unique mechanisms are. If you don't, you're going to figure out what a unique mechanism is. We're going to go through it. I'll give you some examples. But unique mechanism is something I talk about all the time. And with a unique mechanism, when you understand it and when you have a view for your product, you can literally make unlimited amounts of emails. Next is a parable story with a lesson. If you don't know what a parable is, it is essentially a story that you can gather a lesson from that seems pretty unrelated to what you're talking about. So one parable off the top of my head, which I'm going to paraphrase. In short, it's a rough paraphrasation, but I'm going to tell it anyway. So a man, let me think. How does he say it? How does it go?
One eternity later.
Okay, you know what? I decided not to paraphrase it because I was going to butcher it because I didn't really remember that well, but I'm going to bring it up right here. So here's the story. If you have heard or read the story, you'll know it goes like this. A Chinese farmer loses a horse and the villagers say, man, what bad luck. The farmer replies, maybe. The next day, the horse returns with several wild horses, and the villagers exclaim, what good luck. Again, the farmer says, maybe. Later, the farmer's son breaks his leg while trying to tame one of the wild horses. What bad luck, say the villagers. The farmer's response, maybe. Finally, the army comes to the village to draft young men to war, but leaves the farmer's son behind due to his broken leg. What good luck? Cheer the villagers. The farmer simply replies, maybe. So the lesson there obviously is that nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so, a lot like Shakespeare said. So by using that lesson, we can come up with a belief shift that gets people closer to our sale, whatever that is. So that is a parable. Next is your own related/unrelated obstacle story with a lesson. So this can be completely unrelated. Like one time I was in the military and I got in trouble because I didn't shave. And I didn't shave because I thought the rules were stupid. A lot of the times we go through life and we just, if a rule is stupid, we decide not to follow it and we deal with the consequences anyways. When it's much better to just accept the rules for what they are, you're not going to change them, you might as well play by them. And the rules are whatever it is, right? And then we can go from there and talk about what the lesson was and how the lesson actually pertains to our belief shift, which will get people closer to the sale. So that was an unrelated story to, maybe I can make it about business, right? Business has rules. They're not always good, but you got to follow the rules anyways, right? And I could make that a complete story email on something that's unrelated. So realistically, like finding a story to write about is not difficult. I gave you 5 different ones here, and dude, like I could make millions of emails just off of these 5 story types. So what is a unique mechanism? Technically, there are 3, but here's just the basic definition. So a unique mechanism is essentially the thing that sells the thing. Long ago, there were this fire alarm company, right? And the fire alarm company was losing sales and they weren't doing very well. So they thought, we have to come up with a way to make our fire alarm different from all the other ones because we can't price any lower, right? Usually with e-commerce, it's a race to the bottom, meaning, hey, I have something for $5. I bought it for $3 and now I only have $2 in profit. And then somebody else comes through and they're like, I'm going to sell the same thing, but for $4 and I only have $1 in profit. And someone else comes and undercuts them, and someone else comes and undercuts them. And that is what is referred to as a race to the bottom. So how do you beat that? You beat that by becoming one-to-one, having something that nobody else has. So what this fire alarm company did is they said it had gold wiring, this special gold-plated wiring that lets your fire alarms last much longer than the ones that don't have this gold plating. Little did people know is that every fire alarm had this gold plating, but they were just, using it as their unique mechanism. And because they did that, it essentially made them one of one, and they were able to save their business just because they used a unique mechanism. And now every business has unique mechanisms in it. You usually have different types of unique mechanisms, and those unique mechanisms have unique mechanisms for the problems and for the solutions. Don't worry, I have a bunch of examples coming up, but hopefully you should understand what a unique mechanism, sometimes referred to as UM, is. And next, I want to talk about entertainment and intrigue through correlation. This one is super important, and a lot of copywriters do it, but not many really have called it a name or have taught it, but here's what it really means, right? An example is the caveman method to getting girls. Now, that's intriguing because you don't know what the caveman method is, but it's also promising because getting girls is, in this context, what you want to do, okay? So the caveman method to getting girls, it could be also the caveman method to getting copywriting clients, the caveman method to getting shredded, right? It's kind of using something unrelated and using something related and putting them together. This gives people fresh ideas. The number one reason why people aren't going to read your copy or read what you're writing about is because they think they already know what you're going to say. Whenever someone thinks that they already know what the person is going to say, they just want it out of the way. I mean, think about when a YouTube ad pops up and you're just smashing the next button, smashing skip ad before it's even counted down because you've already seen this commercial before and you already know it's not something that you want, right? So you just want to get it out of your face as soon as possible. But when it's something new, you might give it a little bit more of your attention. So that is essentially how this goes, correlation. And so I want to go through this next email here with you. So essentially, this is like a entertainment through intrigue and correlation email, and it doesn't conventionally follow the story process like about a lot of other ones. It's a small story and it's an inferred story. So I'm going to go through and tell you exactly what those mean as we go through. The goal of the email, of course, is to just get people to watch a video, right? It's a free call to action type of email. What exactly am I trying to say? I neglected creating my copywriting portfolio and profile. So I had a hard time getting clients. You should improve your copywriting skills, portfolio, and profile so that you look like you are who you say you are. How did I come up with this idea? I wanted to show that you can correlate any two things in the world. So I went to ChatGPT and I said, give me 5 random nouns, right? And I said, out of all these 5 random nouns, I'm going to pick one to write an email about and relate it to copywriting. We have telescope, festival, passport, avalanche, and necklace. I was thinking about which one I should use. Initially, I thought either telescope or passport, and ultimately I decided passport. So here's my copywriting email where I was forced to also incorporate a passport. Subject line, get clients with your copywriter passport. Hey, first name, ever try to travel to another country and forget your passport? If you have, chances are there's not a chance you'd be flying anywhere. I decided to take out that first chance because it sounded redundant. I used it again in the other sentence. If you have, there's not a chance you'd be flying anywhere. Why? Because you might not be who you say you are. In other words, stranger danger. And that's why it's so hard to get copywriting clients. Tyson's talking nonsense. I think he must have bumped his head. Hold up. Let him cook. When you're outreaching to clients, the number one thing that pops in their head is, who is this guy? Another desperate amateur? A scammer? An AI outreach bot gone rogue? And you saying, I can make you money, trust me, isn't going to help your situation. That's why you need what I call a copywriting passport. Proof that you can be trusted. What is a copywriting passport? It consists of these main 3 things: your experience, portfolio, and profile. Without these 3 things, you're as trustworthy as sushi from a gas station. And like being at the airport without a real passport, you won't be going far. But with a rock solid portfolio, I'll say copywriting passport, with a rock solid copywriting passport, not only can you hop into the copywriting client's plane, but you'll also be cruising in first class. And this means you get access to the big clients, ones with more followers than a small country, bank account balances that look like phone numbers, and enough work for you to keep you typing till your fingers cramp. But I get it. This might leave you with even more questions. But how do I make a portfolio? What am I supposed to post on my socials? What if I don't have any experience? Well, to answer those questions and so much more, click here to watch the new free 8-hour copywriting mega course. Think of it like Netflix, but instead of corny reality TV, cough, cough, Love Island, cough, cough, you actually learn skills that you can use to make money. So suit up, prepare for takeoff, and I'll see you in the next email. So to break this down really quickly, you might be thinking, well, Tyson, what are the stories in this one? The stories are what I call inferred stories. So for example, this is the story that's going through your client's head when they're seeing your outreaches, right? And then this is the story that you might be going through right now when I tell you this and you're saying, okay, but how do I do that? And what are the actual steps? And if you want the answers to those questions, you should watch the free 8-hour copywriting mega course, which is real on this channel. And I'll link it to you at the end of this video. And another thing to note here is that I also add entertainment value in this email. So when you're giving people just nothing but straight value in every single email, the thing is that even value gets boring. Again, we're competing with things like TikTok here, okay? So to make it actually entertaining, I've added in a picture, which is kind of like a meme picture. I've added in some jokes. I talked about you're as trustworthy as sushi from a gas station, for example, right? And these, and I also dissed Love Island. And these are essentially just small entertainment values. I call them comedic relief, right? So a lot of the times if you're watching shows, especially like Marvel movies and stuff, where you're watching stuff that's super serious, there's going to be comedic relief. Even if it's an action movie or like a more serious movie, the thing is that there's going to be comedic relief because it just makes you feel better about watching the whole thing. It lightens up the mood a little bit, and that's usually what you want. And this is how I actually use ChatGPT. So I created the whole email and then I said, give me 5 funny analogies for things that are not trustworthy, because I wanted to put, you're going to be as trustworthy as, but I had no idea what's something that's not trustworthy. And it gave me the sushi example, and that's exactly what I used and what I ran with. So next, I came up with a fitness email. Here were some of my ideas that I didn't decide to use, but I did decide to use this idea, and I'm gonna go through it now. It has a lot more to do with an actual story and not an implied story. Subject line, stop worrying about diet and start hacking your hunger hormones. Here's how. Hey, first name, what's the number one reason people can't lose weight? Maybe they don't know the right diet, or they have a low metabolism, or maybe donuts and pancakes are just taking advantage of them. But none of those are actually the issue. The real reason people can't lose weight is hunger. I know. Thank you, Captain Obvious. But there's actually a way to hack your hormones so you're less hungry. No more overeating, snacking, or craving deep fried bacon wrapped Twinkies. Because I get it. You're minding your own business, and then all of a sudden, the hunger feels like Mike Tyson is using your stomach as a punching bag. But you told yourself, I have to lose weight. I'm not giving up on my diet again. But the devil on your shoulder creeps in and you start bargaining with yourself. Just one bite couldn't hurt. I've been so good this week. I'll just have a cheat meal today and then be strict the rest of the month. Then a cheat meal turns into a cheat week and then a cheat month. And before you know it, you're regaining back the same 10 pounds for the 27th time. I know because I've been there. Until I figured out how to hunger hack. Picture having a total of 3 small meals throughout the whole day without feeling like you're on a hunger strike. How quickly would you be able to lose weight and keep it off for good? And no, this is not some dangerous tapeworm type of diet. It simply works by using a little hormone called leptin. And leptin's job is to signal your brain when it's full, triggering you to stop eating. How do you produce more leptin? Eating a protein-heavy diet, sticking to 3 meals per day, no snacks, and no food 3 hours before bedtime. Now, these are the bare basics of hunger hacking. But if you want to know the exact diet and eating schedule I've used to lose 23 pounds in 2 months and keep it off, all without that starvation feeling, click here to watch my free video. I'll walk you through the hunger hacking plan that transformed me from snack attacker to full-time fat fighter. Stay fit, stay healthy, 4D. So again, I'll go through this one really briefly, but essentially the story here is a lot more painted out. So I paint out what usually happens to people when they say they're going to go on a diet, but then they become too hungry, they start bargaining with themselves, and then they end up just binge eating. And as you can see, I'm actually applying a lot of the lessons that I taught you, things like ultra specificity. And I also use a lot of analogies. And again, I use a lot of entertainment value to kind of hopefully throughout the email, make people laugh or make people chuckle, kind of like this Captain Obvious one. Now, you don't always have to add a picture into your emails, but it's a really, really easy way to just add up and amp up the entertainment value in all of your emails. And again, another form of unique mechanism. In this first email, the copywriting passport was basically a unique mechanism. And here, the leptin or the hunger hacking is the unique mechanism, right? So let's say there's 2 companies and they both sell a diet nutrition plan. Whichever one is cheaper, people are going to just go with that. But this one, people believe it's going to work because it makes so much sense to trigger your mind's leptin, to trigger your brain's leptin capacity. And then essentially you're not hungry anymore, so you can diet a lot easier without having to deal with a huge pain that most people actually face, which is hunger. And that, my friends, was our 2 emails. I have a couple more story emails that I could share, but of course, videos kind of getting long as it is. And I have a lot more videos and awesome value for you guys in the future. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. So what is your action plan? Because as we all know, exposure to knowledge does not mean learning. You got to actually do the stuff. So number 1, download this resource and many more in the free copy starter kit. Next, write a story email about a real prospect. Send in your copy for review in the free school community or in Discord. And if you want to know more copywriting techniques, how to get clients, and other skills that will make you a highly paid copywriter, then you want to check out the free 8-hour copywriting course on the next video. I'll actually put it on screen right now. I'll also put on a playlist of my students who have made over 10K per month, so you can check that out too for some inspiration. All right, everybody, that's it for today. And of course, I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.